Guys, welcome back to the channel, Constant Dystopia. Guys, I have said for the last couple years that what the Democrats were doing was an attack on white, straight, male Americans. But you can look at it as an attack on everybody. Let's get right into it here. I want to show you guys something what I was just watching. Check this out.
It'll be okay. I mean, Buzz Aldrin. There we go. So, Antonio, can you tell us what you? Antonio is helping out with the Social Security. So, just trying to review Social Security, where you may have heard that we found 20 million dead people marked as alive in the Social Security database. This is crazy.
Wait, did he say 20 million?
And then in the Social Security database,
how many?
20 million dead people.
Guys, there's 300 something million people in this country. They've got 20 million dead people collecting Social Security. Do you guys understand that Social Security is the biggest expense that this country has next to our national debt? Social Security outweighs our military spending.
Marked as alive in the Social Security database. This is so crazy. And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here where how many...
Guys, I'm gonna just make a prediction. The trend that you're seeing here since 2001, 2002, 2003, and then 2004, and you see it drop off in 2025, this plan right here is the Great Replacement. Check this out.
Security numbers were issued. Do you want to...
Yeah, so let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of it.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of ways. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people. Goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24.
Come on.
That's
almost double. Look, from 21 to 22, that's almost double, bro. It's not quite double, but it's almost double. Then look, from 22, what are you at? 500,000? And in 23, you're at 964,000? That's almost double again, man. Look at this. Look at this. And then here in 2024 is more than double this in 2023. This is unbelievable.
Non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah,
how does one non-citizen get a Social Security number? How does any one of them do it? Guys, this is unbelievable. I work with people who have been in this country for years and years on work visa, whatever. They're trying to go for their citizenship. They would love to have a Social Security number. They've been denied for years and years. And you're telling me that last year, over 2 million people, non-citizens, were issued Social Security numbers for just marching over the border? Bro, I don't know what kind of country we're living in. What kind of shit are you guys voting for? Liberals, wake up. Wake up.
This literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down. And very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
And it's very good of him for letting those people remain anonymous, because I'm sure whoever's receiving all this money fraudulently is going to be very mad when their money stops flowing in.
Yeah. This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border.
And guys, that's kind of bogus too, because how many people live in the world? Can everyone just come to America and say that I'm afraid? Oh, my country's dangerous. That's crazy. This is crazy.
This happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, notice to appear, which to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges.
Guys, you think that an immigrant that steps over the line and comes into this country and they tell them to see a judge in the next 6 years, you think that they're going to go see that judge?
Only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we've mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765. It's the work form. You get this form called the 766. That's the authorization. And then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview. No ID.
This is worth, just reiterating. It's not...
I would like to reiterate something. I've never heard of this. What I heard of was that within the last year or two, let me just expose this a little bit. Guys, I work construction in New York City. I've been working construction in New York City for the past 15 years. Most of the people who I've worked with for the past 15 years are illegal immigrants. And they haven't, in the past, before I'd say 2023, they haven't paid taxes. It used to be like that the boss would come on payday and he'd give me my check. And I just, taxes are deducted from my full 40 hours. And there's guys that work for just cash, so they weren't paying taxes in this country at all. And there's guys that work half-half, right? And these guys that work half-half, there's usually some reason why. Usually they'd like to show that they are paying some taxes in this country, or they've got an obligation to child support, or they're looking to get help with food, like food stamps, or help with housing. So these guys get paid some cash and some checks so that they can show on the books that they don't make that much money, right? So they've been completely playing the system. Then sometime in 2023, I know my boss and at a couple different companies, they came to all the guys that were working basically off the books, right? And they said that you have to apply for an EIN tax ID number so that these guys can pay taxes in this country. Because it's not fair to the rest of us. Why do we work and pay taxes and receive no help with food, no help with rent? We pay out everything we've got just to live, and these people come here and get everything for free. I'm not saying that they're bad people. Some of them obviously are. I'm not saying that the guys that come here from other countries don't work hard. I'm sure they work hard. It's just while you're here as a legitimate citizen, born and raised, you have no wiggle room. And these guys can completely play the system. In my opinion, that was up until 2023. They started paying taxes. And I've heard a heavy share of crying, guys, about how much taxes are taken out. And I'm just laughing like, yeah, welcome to paying taxes.
It's not. People sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people.
Guys, if that's not some treasonous stuff, I don't know what is. I'm sure that under his, stuttering, mumbling old man self, Joe Biden knows exactly what's going on with all of this stuff. This is very important to our country. They've been trying to do this for years. And you could see how every year that Biden was president, the number doubled or almost doubled. How many illegals are getting social security numbers? This is mind-boggling to me.
Make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd believed it. I went through it myself,
And honestly, Elon Musk was one of the biggest things that saved us from living in a blue party totalitarian state. But when he bought X and when he spoke out against all this attack on free speech, it's not right that you have free speech in this country, but then all these companies, if you exercise the right to free speech that you have in this country on, a dating app or a social media app or at work, that you get what? You get deplatformed and canceled? That's not free speech. That's an attack on our rights.
and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through. We found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution.
Exactly. What they've been doing with their DEI initiatives. DEI, in my opinion, as a straight white male, DEI is another way of saying we would like to hire, we would like to educate, we would like to do everything in this country with less straight white males and more of everyone else. So how can you do that if straight white males are a silent majority voting bloc in this country? How can you do that? Exactly like this, by disenfranchising all the voters, letting people come over here and vote who aren't even supposed to be here at all. This is like treasonous stuff, guys.
At the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already. That is already happening. Right now. Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, and people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this. Okay? That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in Central America, you got to walk up through Mexico and through Central America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos. You pay the traffickers, right? And we were told by ICE, it's between $20,000 and $500, depends where they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border. Where does that money go?
Most guys that have made this trip that I've talked to here in New York City said that they paid anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 to pay the what do you call them? The mule.
It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers. Right? There are 30.
And let me make this clear too, right? Because it's kind of clear to me. How does somebody make a business out of smuggling people constantly across the border? How? How do you figure that all the time the same guy drives a weird little truck across the border and he never gets caught? He puts some money in the Border Patrol's hand. That's my opinion.
1,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this. 30,000 children. 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human tragedy. It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. And how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created this system here that created a incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid?
The reverse side of that system is that they've created a system where they're constantly taking advantage of the American taxpayer, constant dystopia.
You're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant. If you don't pay them, what happens? What do? They kill your mother, they kill your brother, they kill your family. What happens next?
Right. And then they've got these guys working up here for slave wages. And then if you go to work with them like how I have, you're an indentured servant also.
That's what we discovered. And I have to tell you, it's tragic to me. The tragedy, the human tragedy this created is extraordinary. That's the real problem. This is America. We don't do this here in America.
Yeah.
We don't.
Tell them. Because I know a lot of liberals that just argue for an open border. They just argue for, oh, there's gangs over there. Yeah, you know what? There's gangs everywhere. Why don't you let all these guys come and live in your living room?
Do this here in America. People come here legally, and that's great. Elon came here legally. My parents came here legally. That's the way to do it. This is outrageous.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, you can see because there's still actually a lot of people out there, especially in the sort of center third of the country, that somehow think this is made up by the right, or it's like some fiction. It's not, that is somehow not true, but it is absolutely true, and you can see that if you.
What's made up is everything that they tell you about this that comes out of the left. Anything that you hear from CNN, MSNBC, anything that you hear from all of these, these liberal news stations have you completely brainwashed if you think that this is wrong.
Look at things like the state of New York, which tried to make it legal for illegal immigrants to vote in the state of New York. That was only shot down by the New York Supreme Court a few weeks ago. And California has made it health care available.
You know what was funny about that? They're going to make it legal for illegals to vote here. And then they realize that a lot of those illegals are going to vote Trump. And then they try to brainwash those illegals by telling them, like, no, Trump's anti-immigrant. It's the brainwashing campaign is crazy. It's crazy. They know who their demographic is that they need to brainwash, and they know exactly what they need to tell them.
All illegals in the state. And they initially claimed that it would only cost $3 billion. It's now $9 billion and climbing. So it's really, if you create a massive financial incentive for people to...
Guys, I don't know how many billion New York City has spent on this. I'll just tell you what. I work so hard in construction, I barely make it here in New York City. I barely survive. I pay my rent, my electric. I got internet. I got no cable. I got no car. I pay for transportation from the train, or I ride my bicycle and I have to fix my bike sometimes. Very minimal stuff, guys. I do one recreational activity. I go to jiu-jitsu, okay? But when I pay for all those things, my money is stretched. And you're talking about all these guys, some of who were dangerous criminal, rapist, murderer, gang members, came here and got free rent in a luxury hotel, free food at that hotel, and debit cards for free spending money based off what? Based off the taxes that we pay to New York City to have to live here? And at the same time, your streets outside are, they have cracks in them. There's no garbage cans in my whole area because they don't have the funding to send garbage trucks to pick things up, so people throw garbage on the floor. You've got veterans homeless in the street. You've got people who are born and raised here who have to find another place to live and just look elsewhere. You got to be kidding me. This is un-American. You can say something is humanitarian for so long until it's proven that you're wrong.
To come to the United States illegally, then that's what they will do. It's a very sort of, it'd be strange, it'd be odd if that didn't happen. So the thing that actually has the Democrats losing their mind by far, the real reason for these attacks and sort of the burning of the cars and everything is that we're going to turn off the payments to illegal.
Here's why you will never stop procrastinating. If we want to stop procrastinating, we
man.
need to understand that our brain is
I gotta
asking for
pay for this
specific.
thing so I don't have to watch ads anymore, guys. This is really
The payments to
really no
illegals.
good. I'll reiterate something that Elon said the other day because I thought it before I saw him say it, was that I thought that the Democrats were the party of, being peaceful and talking about things. And you see all these lunatics lighting Teslas on fire at dealerships, destroying people's Tesla that's their personal property. These people are the same people that used to be like, Elon used to be their poster boy when he was on board with their politics. And ever since his politics changed, it's like they hate him. And how crazy can you be? I mean, it's no loss for him, right? If you're burning cars at a dealership, the dealership's taking a hit. If you're destroying somebody's personal Tesla, you're destroying their personal property and they're going to have to pay for that. You're not doing anything to this guy. These people are just out of their mind. And they want to claim that they're the peaceful and reasonable ones.
Because, yeah, I mean, because that's not the deal. It's simply not right. If you look at that thing with the Roosevelt Hotel and the luxury hotels in New York, where the Federal Emergency Management Agency funds were being used to house illegals in luxury hotels in New York that the average American can't afford. And they were given a welcome package and $10,000 debit cards and everything else. It's super real. I mean, it's.
He corrected me a little bit there. It wasn't city funds used to house them. That was federal funds. That's my mistake. But still, guys, that's a lot of accommodations. Come on, man.
I think it's the biggest voter fraud thing in history by far. And moreover, if left unchecked, it would have succeeded. As Antonio mentioned, the time frame for going from asylum to citizen is roughly 5 years.
Yep.
And so all of the people that came in on that chart that you saw, if the machine behind the Kamala puppet had won, then they change out the puppet, but it's the same machine. Then they would have actually legalized all those people, and there would be no swing states.
And they added more. Remember, it was doubling every year.
Yes,
it went from 1 million.
It was going ballistic.
Going ballistic, and it is just these people are just entering the benefit programs now. By the way,
right.
We're seeing the ramp happen too, and these are just the ones that are in the system. This doesn't count the other 7.5, 8 million that ICE thinks are out there.
Yeah.
We don't know if they have numbers. The number is totally uncontrolled. The voter ID requirement in this state is super important because of this.
Yes.
Because the Social Security number, it's not supposed to be.
Guys, I don't know if I speak for most people, a lot of people, some people. This is one of the reasons why I voted Trump, right? I'm a registered Democrat. I have in the past voted democratically. This is one of the issues that made me vote for Trump in this past election, along with some other social issues that we're having here at home, like the changing role of women. Yeah, man, these things need to end. This is crazy. I'm so glad that he brought these guys, like this kind of a team on to handle this, because these guys completely understand what's been going on. I mean, they've been firing back at Tucker Carlson for years and years for talking about the Great Replacement theory. But the more you hear it, the more you hear the reasoning behind it, it's been completely true this entire time. Anybody that you tell it's true, they're like, they treat you like a racist white guy, but it's true. It's true. And listen, being a straight white male American, that has its own culture. That's its own thing. You're not just going to put an attack on it and have nobody notice and nobody respond.
ID number basically is. That's how you access all the benefits. This is why we need voter ID, because this thing is not secure. You could walk into a Social Security office today as an adult in America, and get a Social Security number enumerated with simply answering 6 or 7 simple questions and showing some forms of ID that are not federal ID.
Well, you can just actually make it up. Basically, you can show basically like a fake utility bill, or
show a medical bill and a school ID.
Yeah, medical bill and a school ID, and you can get a Social Security number.
Yes.
And then from there you get on the voter rolls, and then
Yes.
Basically Dem operatives will form the vote.
Yes.
So the problem with this obviously is that if you turn the swing states blue, then there are no swing states, and then we're in a permanent one-party system. And as soon as they win that, they'll have the House, the Senate, the presidency. They'll pack the Supreme Court. Then they'll double down.
That's not a new idea, by the way, guys. You know, anybody who knows a thing or two about American history knows that we have a long history of a two-party system, and each party has, done whatever they can do to win swing states and to win elections and to be in control of power and how things are working in this country. That's not a new concept. It's just how they've gone about doing this in our more recent history is alarming. I'd say more than alarming.
On the illegals, just like California. So, we've already seen this happen in California. California is supermajority Dem. So, but at least California is held back by the fact that people can move out of state. Once you can no longer leave America, they'll be far worse than California. So the gravity of the situation is severe.
Help us clean up Wisconsin border roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
things like this over the past couple years, guys, have been making me feel like the walls are closing in on me. It's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel, Constant Dystopia, because I feel like these things need to be talked about. If everyone goes from doing real work to making videos and putting it on the internet, then I hope a lot of people start talking about where the money's flowing and keeping it real about, what's going on in our country so that things like this can never happen again.
I mean, it's really simple stuff. Just having photo ID to vote is like you can't buy something at the liquor store, but voting is more important than buying a beer. So
You're gonna need real ID to get an airplane.
Right. Hold up. Let's be real. Voting is the main thing that you get to do for all the taxes that you have to pay here. That's the one thing that you get. So, to be disenfranchised, that's insane. It's nothing short of treasonous stuff here.
yeah, you can't
but
fly anywhere. Yeah, and the same people who are saying that there should be no voter ID at voting stations demanded vaccine ID from everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird, So it's really about just restoring integrity to the voting system.
That is weird, right? Yeah, you don't need any ID to vote, but you have to have your vaccine card. And as a matter of fact, you're going to have it to come into any restaurant or business, or you get fired from your job even if you don't get your vaccine card. But why should you have to show ID to vote? Guys, the same people who are arguing that you don't need to show ID to vote are the same people who believe in, there's no such thing as borders and a bunch of crazy stuff like that. It's like, yeah, go to another country, man. Go to the other side of the world and go to another country and tell me that there's no borders. Because there are borders. Borders are very real. And these people are out of their mind. I'm happy that we have rich, powerful people that actually have common sense running things in our country.
Which really should not be a right or left cause, but a cause for all. Do we not all want integrity in the voting system? Of course we do.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So
right. Well, I guess that's it. I guess to sum things up here a little bit. Guys, I would say that in conclusion, if there's been so much money wasted and so much fraud,
There's one single video that's responsible.
I'm waiting to see who gets in trouble, who goes to jail for this. You know, if so much money has been fraudulently transferred to provide for illegal immigrants or whoever who are just here to disenfranchise American voters or whatever, who gets in trouble for that, and how does the money come back to the American taxpayer? Those are my questions. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. It's Constant Dystopia. I'll catch you in the next video.